आज नजीरे बनता हो, शौक कोई बचपन का हो।
घरों में अपने अपने घरों में रहते हैं ना, फिर ऐसे।
और क्या ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं,
ठीक।
मतलब तो उनको बहुत लाइट हो जाना चाहिए अगर ये इतना पढ़ लेते हैं। हम
घर
पढ़
में
पढ़ के थक गए हैं।
घर में बैठ।
चलो कर लूं शुरू।
हाँ जी,
Assalamu alaikum students. So we are revising blood vessels as I said yesterday. Today we are going to do aneurysms and dissections. Okay, you have already done CVS, you know that. So aneurysm is a localized abnormal dilatation of the blood vessel or the heart, which may be congenital or it can be acquired. It is a localized abnormal dilatation of a blood vessel, or it can also be in the heart as well. It can be congenital or it can be acquired. Then there are true aneurysms, false or pseudoaneurysm. True aneurysm. When an aneurysm involves an attenuated but intact arterial wall or thin ventricular wall of the heart, it is called a true aneurysm. So in the true aneurysm, it involves a thin wall, ventricular wall, or a intact wall of the blood vessel. Atherosclerosis, syphilis, congenital vascular aneurysms, and ventricular aneurysms that follow the myocardial infarctions are true aneurysms. So in a true aneurysm, the wall is of the ventricle or the wall is of the blood vessel, but it is thinned out. And this is because of the atherosclerosis, which we discussed yesterday. It can be because of syphilis or it can be congenital vascular aneurysm, that is, the child is born with that, and ventricular aneurysm that follow the myocardial infarction. In myocardial infarction, there is thinning of the muscles of the heart, so an aneurysm can develop, and all of these are called true aneurysm. Then next is false or pseudoaneurysms. In a false or pseudoaneurysm, it is a defect in the vascular wall leading to an extravascular hematoma that freely communicates with the intravascular space. Pulsating hematoma, these are seen in ventricular rupture. So in this case, the defect is in the vascular wall. In the vascular wall, there is going to be a free communication between the vascular wall and the lumen of the vessel or lumen of the heart, and a extravascular hematoma is formed that will freely communicate with the intravascular space. It is also known as pulsating hematoma or a ventricular rupture. Next is the dissection. Dissection. An arterial dissection arises when blood enters into a defect in the arterial wall and tunnels between its layers. So whenever the blood enters the arterial wall, that is the muscular layer, it travels in that and produces a tear, and this is called a arterial dissection. True and false aneurysm and dissections can rupture with catastrophic consequences. Of course, they can rupture because the walls are thinned out. And when there is going to be a rupture of a major blood vessel or a heart, obviously this is not, in the heart, it is not compatible with life, and it is going to create catastrophic consequences. The consequences are very dire. Okay? So, aneurysm, true aneurysm, false or pseudoaneurysm, and dissections. So in this case, if you see, this is the diagram which is given in your Robbins. This is a normal vessel. You can see the walls are so smooth. But in the case of true aneurysm, there is dilatation of the wall, and it is going to, it is because of the weakening or because of the syphilis, dilatation of the vascular wall occur, and this area has become weakened. And in the false aneurysm, this is produced by fibroconnective tissue. Stoma is outside, the wall gives way, and the blood is present or hematoma is present between that fibrous tissue capsule and the wall. And this is called pseudoaneurysm because this is not lined by the true wall. Okay. So this has more chances of, obviously both of these can rupture. And when they rupture, there is going to be very dire, catastrophic effects. Okay. And this is the dissection. In the dissection, you can see the wall of the muscle layer has been divided into two, and the blood is present between the muscular layer, between the wall of the blood vessel, and this is called dissection, extravasation of blood. Sometimes this dissection, if it becomes long standing, is lined by endothelium, and then we can call it a double barrel vessel, which I'm going to tell you later on. Classification of aneurysm by size and shape. One classification is either they're true aneurysm or they're false aneurysm, and whether they're dissections or not. The other classification is because of the size and the shape. Secular aneurysm, fusiform aneurysm. So in the secular aneurysm, they are spherical shaped aneurysm or spherical shaped outpouchings, which involve only a portion of the vessel wall. This can vary in size from 5 to 20 centimeter in diameter and often contain a thrombus. Fusiform aneurysm. Fusiform aneurysms, they are diffuse circumferential dilatation of a longer vascular segment. They vary in diameter and length, can involve extensive portion of the aortic arch, abdominal aorta or iliac. These are not specific for any disease or manifestation. So we have two types of aneurysm according to the shape. Number one is the secular aneurysm, which is a spherical outpouching from the wall of the artery, and the other is a fusiform aneurysm. This is an elongated aneurysm which is present in a longer vessel. Okay, so if we see it again, secular aneurysm are spherical outpouchings which are involve only a portion of the vessel wall, vary in size from 5 to 20 centimeter in diameter, and they often contain a thrombus. And fusiform aneurysms, they are diffuse circumferential dilatation of a longer vessel segment. They can vary in size and the diameter. They can involve extensive portion of the arch of the aorta, or they can involve the abdominal aorta or iliac arteries. This is not a specific manifestation of any disease. So I've told you this is a fusiform aneurysm and this is a secular aneurysm. All these diagrams are given in your opens. Pathogenesis, how these aneurysms are produced. Arterial walls constantly remodel to maintain their structure and functional integrity. Aneurysm can occur when the structure or function of the connective tissue within the vessel wall is compromised. So obviously I've told you that aneurysm develops when there is weakening of the wall of the artery or weakening of the wall of the heart. Arterial walls, they constantly remodel to maintain their structural and functional integrity. Aneurysms can occur when the structure or function of the connective tissue, okay, sorry. Aneurysms can occur when the structure or function of the connective tissue within the vascular wall is compromised. It's going to become weakened. The intrinsic quality of vascular wall connective tissue is poor. And sometimes there is intrinsic quality of the vascular wall is poor, and this is because it can occur in Marfan syndrome or Lewis-Dietz syndrome. In Marfan syndrome, what happens? There is defective synthesis of protein fibrillin, which leads to transforming growth factor beta activity, leading to weakening of the elastic tissue. Marfan syndrome, you have also studied previously, there is going to be weakening of the wall because of the defective synthesis of the protein fibrillin. Because of defective synthesis, this leads to transforming growth factor beta activity, leading to weakening of the elastic tissue. Lewis-Dietz syndrome, there is defective synthesis of elastin and collagen. Obviously, when the vessel wall proteins, fibrillin or vessel wall elastin and collagen are going to be defective, the wall is going to become weakened. And this is happening in Marfan syndrome and Lewis-Dietz syndrome. Next is the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. In Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, there is going to be weak vessel wall due to type 3 collagen synthesis. And this is seen in a condition where there is going to vitamin. In this condition, in the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, there is going to be defect in the type 3 collagen synthesis. This leads to weakening of the blood vessel wall. Next is the vitamin C deficiency. Altered collagen cross-linking are produced, leading to aneurysm. So in vitamin C deficiency, which is important for the collagen cross linkages, aneurysm formation can occur if there is going to be vitamin C deficiency. The balance of collagen degradation and synthesis is altered by inflammation and associated proteases. Increased matrix metalloprotease expression by macrophages and atherosclerotic plaques or in vasculitis contribute to aneurysm formation. So matrix metalloproteinases degrades all the components of extracellular matrix in the blood vessel wall. So what's happening is either there is going to be defective synthesis of the blood vessel wall, like fibrillin is going to be defective. In case of Marfan syndrome and Lewis-Dietz syndrome, there is going to be defective synthesis of collagen and elastin. And in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, there is going to be defective synthesis of type 3 collagen. So in all these syndromes, there is going to be weakening of the blood vessel wall because of defective synthesis of the fibrillin, collagen, or elastin. Okay. And then in vitamin C deficiency, cross-linkaging of collagen is not produced normally, so this can also lead to aneurysm formation. The balance of collagen degradation and synthesis is very important for the proper functioning of the vessel wall. So in the inflammation, there is going to be, in the inflammation, there is going to be degradation of, in the inflammation, there is going to be degradation because of metallic matrix proteinases. So they are going to lead to weakening of the arterial wall, leading to aneurysm formation. MMP degrades all the components of extracellular matrix in the blood vessel wall. AAA stands for abdominal aortic aneurysms. They are associated with local production of cytokines that stimulate release of electrolytic metalloproteinases from the macrophages. So in the case of abdominal aortic aneurysms, which are abbreviated as AA, they are associated with local production of cytokines. So cytokines are produced locally and they stimulate the release of electrolytic matrix metalloproteinases from the macrophages, which can lead to aneurysm formation. The vascular wall is weakened by loss of smooth muscle cells or by synthesis of non-collagenous or non-elastic extracellular matrix. Ischemia of the inner media occur when there is atherosclerosis. Nutrients and oxygen diffusion distance increases because of the thickening of the intima. In hypertension, medial ischemia leading to cystic medial degeneration can occur. So, number one, I have told you there is going to be production of the metalloproteinases from the macrophages, which can lead to degradation of the extracellular matrix in the blood vessel wall. And similarly, cytokines that stimulate the release of electrolytic MMP from macrophages occurs in the abdominal aortic aneurysm. And because of the vascular wall is weakened by loss of smooth muscle cells or by the synthesis of non-collagenous or non-elastic extracellular matrix, so this leads to weakening of the vascular wall. Ischemia of the inner media occurs when there is atherosclerosis. Because of atherosclerosis, narrowing of the blood vessel, the blood supply is not going into the inner media of the blood vessel wall, which can lead to ischemia, and nutrients as oxygen diffusion decreases because of thickening of the intima. In hypertension, medial ischemia leading to cystic medial degeneration occur. In the case of tertiary syphilis, it is also a rare cause of aortic aneurysm. Atherosclerosis and hypertension are two most important causes of aortic aneurysms. Okay, so either the person is hypertensive or person has developed atherosclerosis. Both of these conditions can lead to formation of aneurysm, and the other congenital conditions I have already told you. Okay, I hope it's clear. So in the aneurysm, two causes, atherosclerosis and cystic medial degeneration. These are the normal elastic fibers. But here you can see in the aneurysm, these are the disrupted, fragmented elastic fibers which are present in the wall of the vessel. Okay. Now here you can see the gross appearance of the aneurysm. Most abdominal aortic aneurysm occur between the renal arteries and the bifurcation of the aorta. This is an aneurysm. You can see the markedly dilated wall of the artery of the aorta, abdominal aorta. Here this aneurysm is cut open. You can see a hematoma formation, and aneurysm, because of the weakening of the wall, this is going to be, the rupture of the aneurysm can occur anytime, and this can be very catastrophic event. So next we are going to see abdominal aortic aneurysms. In the abdominal aortic aneurysm, they occur mostly in men and in smokers, develop after the age of 50. Atherosclerosis is the most important major cause of aortic abdominal aneurysms. On the morphology, it is usually positioned between the renal arteries and before the bifurcation of the aorta. It can be secular or fusiform. It can be either of the shape, either secular or fusiform. They can vary in size from 15 centimeter to 25 centimeter in length, so they can be very long as well. They occur due to severe complicated atherosclerosis with destruction and thickening of the underlying aortic media, and they contain a thrombus. Abdominal aortic aneurysms can rarely affect renal, superior, inferior, mesenteric arteries as well. So this is the abdominal aortic aneurysm. As I've told you earlier, you can see it is more of a secular in shape, and you can see a hematoma formation as well. Okay, so it is usually positioned below the renal arteries and above the bifurcation of aorta can vary in size from 15 to 25 centimeter, and there is going to be destruction and thinning of the underlying aortic media. They contain a thrombus, and abdominal aortic aneurysms can rarely affect renal, superior, and inferior mesenteric arteries. Variants of abdominal aortic aneurysm: inflammatory immunoglobulin G4 related disease and mycotic aortic abdominal aneurysms. Okay, inflammatory abdominal aortic aneurysms occur in younger patients, present with the back pain and inflammatory markers, which are C-reactive protein. CRP stands for C-reactive protein. This is a presumed localized immune response to abdominal aortic wall. So in some individuals who are young, inflammatory type of abdominal aortic aneurysms can occur because of the presence of inflammation. Inflammatory markers are going to be high in the serum. C-reactive protein is going to be very high. And this is, we can think as a presumed localized immune response to the abdominal aortic wall, okay? So immunoglobulin G4, IgG4 related disease, disorders with high plasma level of IgG4 with aortitis, periaortitis that weaken the wall can also give rise to aneurysm. So number one can be inflammatory cause, number two can be immunoglobulin G4, IgG4 related disease, which can lead to aortitis, and periaortitis, which weakens the abdominal wall, aortic wall, can lead to aneurysm formation. Mycotic abdominal aortic aneurysm. In lesions, they become infective by circulating microorganisms in the wall. Suppuration destroys the media with rapid dilatation and rupture. So one is inflammatory, in which you can see C-reactive proteins are high. The other is immunoglobulin IgG4 related, in which the weakness of the wall of the aorta is seen because of the aortitis and periaortitis, and it can give rise to abdominal aortic aneurysm. And number three is mycotic, because of the infective organisms. They destroy, the microorganism destroy the wall, leading to separation and dilatation of the media, with rapid dilatation and rupture can also result in this case. Thoracic aortic aneurysms. Thoracic aortic aneurysms are associated with hypertension, Marfan syndrome, or Lewis-Dietz syndrome. So I hope abdominal aortic aneurysms are clear. As I've told you, most important causes are atherosclerosis and hypertension, and tertiary syphilis also give rise to aneurysm, but as the syphilis is reduced, and we do not see that amount of number of patients with syphilis, so that's why that etiology is also reduced. So abdominal aortic aneurysm, I've told you, can be because of inflammation, immunoglobulin, IgG4 reaction, or mycotic, that is because of the separative inflammation. Next is the thoracic aortic aneurysm. In thoracic aortic Okay, thoracic aortic aneurysms are associated with hypertension, Marfan syndrome, or Lewis-Dietz syndrome. These can cause respiratory difficulty because they can encroach on the lungs and airways, difficulty in swallowing due to compression on the esophagus, pain because of the erosion of the bone, and cardiac disease due to aortic valve dilatation. So thoracic aortic aneurysms are also associated with hypertension. As I've already said, hypertension and atherosclerosis are most important causes.